host. The HR Like the podcast. This episode is more after hours, right? We're gonna do more of like kind of real talk, just kind of
letting our hair down. Yeah, like having a good time. For sure.
let my hair down.
We're relaxing.
Okay, yeah, say that.
Relaxing.
Welcome, Abby.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm AJ.
And I'm Abby. You'll know me.
Do we? All right. So yeah, and as we prepare for this episode, we're really trying to figure out how do we even start it, right? Because there's so much stuff going on.
It's been 1 year of a month.
Literally,
January has felt like it's been 2 years and more.
Yeah. And we get into February, we get into March. There's a lot of stuff going on, right?
Oh, for sure. For sure. I'm tired.
But the big question is, what the hell is going on?
You said it.
Like, what? It's just too much. On HR professionals, we're going through a lot right now.
Oh, my goodness.
And I never would have thought in my HR career, I would be on meetings and calls and creating talking points to talk about if ICE comes to the building.
It's unreal. It's unreal. Yeah, it's unprecedented times. I know people say that a lot, but it really is. We're approaching a very strange era. Not just for HR, but just for people, for employees, for y'all.
Yeah, exactly. And with the plane crash, I travel right for work.
Yeah, I'm sure it was a little unsettling. Like, what is happening?
Yeah, it's been a lot of prayer and fasting. But then DEI is the reason. We need competent people.
Yeah.
It's
they're just a scapegoat for everything. So blame it on DEI.
Right. You can't make this up.
Can't.
You can't make up these stories. It's almost like it's HR like happening in real life. What the things that we go through for real, and things that we that happen, and we come here and tell the stories, and people are like, oh, that didn't happen, but this is happening in real life.
Yeah.
But something I thought about. As our president is trying to terminate all these people for investigating certain dates.
Right.
Isn't that retaliation?
It is.
Which is against the law.
Yeah. If you were a corporation and you were doing that, lawsuit.
I mean,
immediately lawsuit.
We investigated this particular date on January 6th that you allegedly caused. And now you're going to terminate Saints for investigating it. That they didn't.
And for people for doing their job.
Yeah.
Like,
that is
your
textbook.
Yeah.
Retaliation.
Absolutely.
Who's going to terminate them?
I
guess we could impeach him, but
I think that's happened. But and it's not, to me, it's just about, if as an employee, and that's what we are. I know we make the jokes like, you guys are our employees, but we're employees too.
Yeah.
And we see it from a total different perspective, and it's scary. Yeah. These protections being ripped away really are going to affect you guys, all of us, in ways that you don't even recognize. I think for me, now that we kind of touched base a little bit on DEI a little bit, I'd really love to get a definition of what DEI is and what the EEOC is. So I'm going to read it word for word. It's not my opinion, based on fact, right? So DEI is a set of practices and principles that aim to ensure that people are treated fairly and have the opportunity to fully participate.
Yeah.
EEOC is the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. It is a federal agency that enforces laws and prohibits discrimination in the workplace. The EEOC's mission is to promote equal opportunity. And some little known facts is that they also provide education and technical assistance. And they partner with the tribal employment right offices to protect employment rights for Native Americans.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's something that, for me too, even doing just a little bit of research for this episode, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
And to me, both of those definitions are pretty straightforward.
Absolutely.
Um, as an organization, as a person, I don't, I can't really understand what's wrong with having those things in place. Um, and I guess that brings it to another point of what have they done?
Yeah.
Why is it beneficial to you guys? Why is it beneficial to us to have these, um, you know, initiatives in place? And I think for number one, and again, reading directly from my notes, and we will source all the data and the things that we speak about on here because we want you guys to check us, understand where we're getting our information from. We're not making this up.
Fact check.
Check us. Absolutely. Because I'm, pretty reasonable person. I think you are too. We can get things wrong, but these are, again, pulled straight from our research. So with the EEOC, they enforce laws such as the Civil Rights Act of 1964, Pregnancy Discrimination Act, the Equal Pay Act, and also the Title I American with Disabilities Act. It also holds employers responsible legally and provides an inside voice of conscience to fight systemic racism and provide a voice for marginalized groups. They also investigate complaints and they take action. And they can really help you if you're in a position where you don't have the money to represent yourself. They're there to fight for you.
Absolutely.
So again, for EEOC, to me, that is a direct response to the civil rights movement. We had to have EEOC established to be able to have equality. And to me, that is a direct response to racism, clear racism that has been the foundation of America, right?
Absolutely.
And I think to not acknowledge that, to not acknowledge why we need these programs is the number one fault. Or
the fact that the government had to create a agency to ensure or try to ensure or hold people accountable for not treating everybody equally is crazy.
Yeah. It shows that there was a real problem.
Yeah. I mean, same with DEI. We had to create this so people could be taken seriously, felt like they were included in the organization. We use different tools to reach out to people who maybe in their algorithm or their applicant pool or using AI, they disqualified them.
Absolutely.
Having organizations with diversity in them, it's crazy that we had to do all these things.
Yeah.
Just to make sure we are getting equal treatment from our neighbors.
Table.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's another big misconception is that diversity and include DEI, EEOC, affirmative action is only benefiting Black people.
Yep.
And that's the furthest from the truth.
Absolutely.
If you're a veteran, if you're a mother, if you're a parent, if you are somebody who has a disability, if you're a part of the LGBTQ plus community, this all provides you protection.
Yep.
So to me, it's really, it's daunting and it's scary because I could potentially be in a situation one day where your boss or my boss finds out I'm gay and maybe has certain biases against the gay community, and I end up losing my job and I have no way to fight back and prove that this person was firing me because of my, sexual orientation.
Yeah. And think about all the companies that are scaling back from DEI programs. Companies like Target.
Yeah.
Target.
I know.
Walmart, Amazon, Lowe's, just to name a few.
Yeah. And let's, aside just a moment, but let's talk about the Target point. Because I love Target.
Love Target, yeah.
Don't just pull out from buying at Target. Research the brands that are minority owned, women owned, indigenous people owned, any of that, and buy those products because suddenly pulling out money from Target is going to say, they're going to look at their products and say, hey, Tabitha Brown, shout out Tabitha, love you.
Right.
Your salad dressing isn't selling anymore.
Yeah.
So we're going to pull you off the shelf,
Mhm.
which again hurts the individual.
Absolutely.
So although that there's some anger there, and I can understand it, but still support your minority businesses.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to say that as
Yeah. No, it's
super important to me.
really great point. But it's so unfortunate that we have people in power and administrations and things that are making these decisions for us, almost trying to get us back to where we were before 1964, right? With the Civil Rights Act. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. We're in an unfortunate time now. I also appreciate the companies who have been very vocal about not scaling back, like Costco. I was talking to a friend and they was like, yeah, they went into Costco and the line was wrapped around the building almost.
Always.
Because they saw that initiative and they was like, oh, well, I'm going to Costco.
Mhm.
But that's huge.
No, it is. It makes a statement that we're not following this ridiculous trend. We're not going back,
Yep. And Apple and Delta, Southwest, the Home Depot, like all those people are, continuing their DEI initiatives. But the issue here, or the concern, is you had to start it in the first place. Now, we appreciate it and thank you, but you had to make a statement or make this imprint in your organization. Oh, we care about diversity, equity, inclusion, because the world doesn't, and we don't. We want diverse people in our organizations.
We don't want our company to be a reflection of only one sector of the population.
Exactly.
But
it's like, why do we even have to get to that point? Why we couldn't just?
And we wish, right?
Yeah.
In a perfect world, there would have been no history of inequality.
Right.
But the reality is that is our history, and so we have to actively fight against it. I mean, there are laws today that systemically target certain groups of people.
Yeah.
And it's because of that we have to have these programs.
Yeah.
And I think that brings me to my next point is I think a big misconception right now is these diversity, equity, the DEI programs are solely responsible for hiring. They're not. Somebody on that team is not saying, okay, this person is going to get hired.
Yeah.
They're providing the data to equal out the playing field.
Absolutely.
To tell employers, hey, look, 90% of your workforce is comprised of white men.
Yep.
In order to bring in diversity of thought, we think that you hiring, this woman would be very, very beneficial to the company.
Absolutely.
Because they can see things from a different perspective. I mean, even in terms of marketing.
Yeah.
How a woman is marketed to, how a man is marketed to, totally different.
And we're not saying or implying at all that those 90% of white males aren't competent or they're not doing their job well. Mm-hmm. The DEI officers and administrators and specialists, they're just looking at it from a different lens and saying, hey, we need to start thinking or sending candidates other than the 90%. Like, mm-hmm. Are we looking at all candidates? Are we just focusing on the ones we see or know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not, no one is trying to quote unquote discriminate against anyone.
No.
But I think DEI was created, as you pointed out, to give everyone an opportunity. Absolutely. And that's if you're black, if you're white, if you're Asian, Latino, if you have a disability, all those things matter in hiring somebody. And we never want to discount somebody for having a disability. Absolutely. That's illegal.
Yeah. And honestly unethical. Do you want to be known for a company that's unethical in their practices?
Yeah.
I also think there's this commentary now that says, oh, well, we only want it based on merit.
Yeah.
Just because someone is brought into consideration due to diversity does not mean that they didn't earn a seat at that table.
Absolutely.
We are still hiring based on merit.
Yeah.
It's as if it's like saying, oh, yeah, we're going to put somebody, I'm hiring for a doctor, and I'm going to bring a chiropractor in the room and give him a job just because he's a black male.
Yeah.
That's not what's happening here.
Right.
These are qualified individuals.
Just as much or even more.
Right. Yeah. Being brought to the table, and they're saying, hey, look, in order to diversify your workforce, which as a melting pot, America was founded on diversity, on immigrants, on slave labor, to be honest.
Yeah.
And so with all of that, it is so important, I think, any organization to create that melting pot and understand how it can be beneficial to you. I mean, even with DEI programs, I mean, people don't understand, like, there's things like parental leaves. That is something that the DEI like helps push.
Yeah.
I mean, it is linked to better engagement, better retention. I just really can't understand how a company can sit there and say, we're done with it.
Yeah.
It brings no value. So when you say that, you're essentially saying diversity brings no value to my company.
Yeah.
And I'm going to hire who I want, and I don't care.
Yeah.
So that to me has been really tough to digest. And I've spoken about it with people, and I think that there's, again, this idea of people are just unqualified and they're just handing out jobs. And it's wild to me to have that perspective, because it's just simply not true.
Right.
People who are qualified for the job will be hired.
Absolutely.
That's it. Yeah. But, I think we're witnessing like this strategic gutting of workplace protections shrouded under the guise of government efficiency, of we need to make things more efficient. So we're removing this. Yep. No, you guys are strategically taking away rights from employees, and it won't stop here.
Right.
I think people need to recognize that it is not going to stop here. I know recently there was a senator or something that proposed a bill to remove OSHA. To remove OSHA. Now, not to be too brutal with my wording here, but the laws of OSHA were written in blood, in my opinion. The blood of the people who had to die to make these laws concrete and real.
Yeah.
So to push that back on the states and say, you handle it. There's going to be no federal overview of how you're handling this program. To me, it's baffling.
Yeah.
We are erasing so much that individuals have worked so hard for. And I just can't believe we're at this point in our society. Regardless of where you come from, what your background is, what your affiliation is, that is wrong. So, I don't know. What we gonna do, America?
what we gonna do,
America? Who said that? What we gonna do?
Yeah.
Because I feel like that. I really feel like it's getting bad.
Yeah.
It's getting really bad.
And for the HR professionals who really care about their employees, who want the best, at some point, our hands may be a little tied.
Can't protect you.
We can't advocate as hard. I mean, I guess we can still advocate, but legally, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can't use that, or we can't use that risk recommendation, or there's a big risk there.
Because it won't be a risk really? Anymore. Yeah. It won't be a risk.
So we are more so putting everybody on notice, and I know everyone at least sees some of the news and understand it. From an HR perspective, I haven't seen anybody talk about it, so we're taking a leap here to discuss this, because of course, I mean, this is after hours, right?
Right.
But of course, we don't talk about this at work, and we shouldn't, because people get rowdy, and just don't know what people's mindset, where their mindset is and what their beliefs are, and they may, for some reason, say a derogatory term to you, and you find a fence, and then now y'all going
Yeah.
back and forth about it.
Yeah. It
It's
leads to
very
a
it could be troubling.
oh, for sure, for sure. It's a delicate topic to discuss.
Yeah.
But from our perspective, to me, it's like again protecting people.
Yeah.
That is at the core of everything I believe in.
Mhm.
You have rights for a reason. They should be protected.
Yeah.
And when we're witnessing these things that are taking away those rights, it may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but I really hope that you guys can recognize how the removal of these initiatives and agencies, it's really leaving you in the most vulnerable state possible, and that's so large corporations can take advantage of the individual. And that to me is the core of it all,
And it's so unfortunate.
you know. um and even outside of this, I mean, you just think of just some examples in my mind that I'm thinking of if of like work from home. We all enjoy working from home because we're able to do exactly that.
Yeah.
Complete our work from home.
Yeah.
Say goodbye to that.
Yeah. I mean,
You got kids, you know, Susie's got a doctor appointment,
Brenda.
you know, yeah, Brenda's got a school play and you need to step out of work. You better be prepared to use your PTO. And if you run out of PTO and you don't have any type of job protected leave, you better be prepared to possibly be faced with losing your job.
Yeah. And can you imagine being a federal employee right now?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, my heart breaks for them.
It's
I also I have a friend who is transgendered, and she was saying some of the what hurts her about this is she sees herself, you know, as a transgendered person, absolutely.
Mhm.
And there were protections that existed when she was working from home, meaning that she felt people looked at her for her work. It wasn't about, oh, you know, this person's walking to the floor and they can see them physically and judge them on, am I appearing more masculine today? Am I appearing more feminine today? You know? So it is sad to think about that.
Yeah.
And people who are disabled. And also, again, our veterans. You guys have worked hard. You have risked your life for this country. It should be something that's considered when you do a freaking job application. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's strange to me how people can't correlate the two, you know? It's tough. And even with equal pay, like if I'm a woman, my name's Susie. Joe over there has been at the company less time, has less education, has had issues, makes more money than me.
Mhm.
And I find out that he makes more money than me. And I am doing everything, if not better than Joe. I can't say anything.
Good luck.
Yeah, good
Susie.
luck. Good luck trying to bring that into any like place of like court of law, because your rights have been taken away. So, like I said, it's delicate and it's upsetting. It's something that's been weighing on me so heavy because I'm fearful.
Yeah.
And some people be like, "Oh no, it's not going to be that bad," and you're just, you know, you're just whiny and da 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 da. And I'm like, I think we are being shown that that's not the case.
Yeah.
So.
And I think some people would ask, so what can we do, right? I think from an HR seat, you continue to do the right thing, regardless of what the news or the government may do. You continue to do the right thing. Also, I think we speak out like this. You know, we have this banging podcast that you know we're really trying here.
Right.
And this is our platform, and I encourage others to, you know, join us or come on the podcast, or because it's hard from an HR perspective to talk about things that are on the news, right? And bringing those in work. But this is After Hours podcast, After Hours episode, so it's okay. But it's hard. It's hard to really voice our opinions on things, because it's sticky, and we're HR, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's difficult. So I encourage my HR colleagues and friends and neighbors and saints and ain'ts to speak out and voice your opinion to us. We're listening. Send us a voice memo or
Yeah, tell us your concerns. And if you're working in HR too, like let us know. Are we
yeah, yeah, right. I mean, are we not?
like we want to know. We
Yeah,
want to know from other perspectives, like how all of these changing policies and things are affecting you.
yeah,
You know.
yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I think that kind of leads to my next point, and I know we're kind of drawn along here, but I think it's important. I'm this episode I'm really passionate about.
Yeah.
I think this episode will hopefully help people understand um, the protections that they have,
Yeah.
And how fragile civil rights are, how easily they can be taken away. You know,
Obviously. So,
but a lot of the comments as well that I've heard is that DEI helps Black people. They should just work harder and not be given a handout. Statistically, Black people are not the primary beneficiaries to DEI, which is interesting.
Yeah.
So, in one of the studies that I researched, companies in the top quartile of gender diversity for their board of directors are 27% more likely to outperform financially than those in the bottom quartile. In separate research, a consulting firm in 2024 found that women's representation at work over the past decade has increased at every level of corporate management. Women today make up 29% of C-suite level positions, up from 17% in 2015.
Yeah.
Another separate article entitled "Who Benefits Most" from DEI, white women in leadership. While women as a whole made significant strides in leadership, the largest gains have been among white women. A Forbes report states that white women hold nearly 19% of all C-suite positions, while women of color hold only just 4%. Ironically, many DEI leadership roles are occupied by white individuals. According to this Medium report, 76.1% of chief diversity officers are white, while Black or African Americans represent just 3.8%.
Wow.
Interesting data, right?
And we love data, right? Yeah.
Hey,
It's part of who we are. To Abby's point earlier, we don't want to just hear talking. We want to provide you the sources, and we'll put them in the description or put them on the screen, but so you can see them. Part of, as we sum it up here, things has changed over the course of 2 weeks. A lot of things have changed. I know our HR colleagues are feeling it. So I want to encourage you to, keep the faith, keep fighting, keep doing the right thing. And I want you to really do a self-examination and really understand and figure out what's the right thing. And I can't tell you what's the right thing for you.
Right.
All I can do is encourage you to do a self-examination and really try to understand where some of these people we're coming from. Whether you take our commentary or not, really dig deep and understand.
Absolutely.
Hear us out. Hear our hearts.
For sure. And do your research.
Yeah.
That's so important. Do your research. Again, I think we reiterated this time and time again, but why is this needed in our society?
Yep.
It's tough. I think this subject, this month of January has been tough, but we're going to make it through. We just hope that through us discussing this, we can better help you. And you can kind of be aware of to what's going on around you. Because I promise you, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, we will look back at this time and it will be shocking.
Yeah.
So
thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of HR Unlocked Podcast. Thanks for coming to work.
Thank you.
We really appreciate you being here today. I know this was a very touchy meeting that we had, right?
Yes, for sure.
And we will take questions after the meeting because we don't want to hold anybody up. So write us, send us voice memos, send us questions send us thoughts, send us commentary. We are open to all feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you disagree with us,
Yeah.
let us know why.
No, yeah.
Because I think we both have kind of been probably in situations where people agree with the measures that are taking place.
Yeah.
And yeah, we are not going to cover or not answer questions just because they don't align with how we feel.
Yep. Yeah, we're very open to a good debate, a good healthy debate.
Yeah, join us on the podcast.
Right.
Come on.
I think we do it pretty often. We debate with leaders all the time about
Yeah.
different things, and like
This is strategic conversation.
exactly. We're to support you.
Absolutely.
Mitigate our risks.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, please, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you very much for rocking with us. We really appreciate it. We're going to continue doing what we do. Season 2, hey, that rhyme. Do what we do. Season 2.
We do season 2.
Maybe I should put that on the shirt.
I know. Maybe that's our next T-shirt. But until our next meeting,
let's have a great week.